All right, everyone, we're back. Let's keep going. I'll try to get through a little bit more of it this time, although it is painfully boring. So in part 1, we left off at 1322, so I've gone back to 13 minutes even, and we're going to start from there. Let's go.
The longest lasting treaty that all of the...
1 second. New Zealand territory at the top? New Zealand? I beg your pardon?
world signed on to at the same time and is still in place. Antarctica is the container of our world oceans. What is beyond Antarctica? Why is the government hiding Antarctica from us? Why is Antarctica completely off limits except for taking a tour of a little peninsula off of South America, which is nothing? And people go, well, you can go to Antarctica.
Well, we spent months trying to actually do it. I was going to send...
How did I stop where I stopped last time when we're going straight from fucking David Weiss to Alex Jones? I'm so happy. Hang on, we're going back.
A tour of a little peninsula.
Go, Alex,
South
go.
America, which is nothing. And people go, well, you can go to
Shut up,
Antarctica.
David.
Well, we spent months trying to actually do it. I was going to send a crew. They won't call back. You can't even go there. There's one peninsula where you look at penguins.
Exactly. And then you think, I have some friends that went to fucking South Pole. Yeah, they put them in that little fucking island with penguins. You can't just
saying you went to Antarctica and you walked around it. He's like being in New Jersey and saying you were chilling in California. It's fucking huge.
There's about 100 different companies that you can spend a lot of money to go on a little guided tour of just that peninsula, but all of those companies are owned under one umbrella. One person controls them all.
X to doubt. I'm going to throw in editing dekiss here because X to doubt. Huge X to doubt on that. After a quick search of the first 2 companies I came across, I found that Polar Tours is owned by Ventura Travel and Quark Expeditions is owned by, Travelopia. So no, you're wrong. That Alex Jones clip was really disappointing. I wanted Alex to be crazier like he usually is. He doesn't agree with flat earthers usually. Probably my favorite Alex Jones clip ever was he was arguing with Eddie Bravo, the guy he was talking to there, and Eddie was insisting that that we didn't go to the moon. Eddie Bravo was saying we didn't have the technology to go to the moon in the 60s, and Alex Jones blows up at him and says, "Dude, we had nuclear subs in the 50s. What are you talking about?" It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But that was really disappointing from everyone involved. Yeah, that's not true. Like, it's hard to go across all of Antarctica. It's not an easy task. That's entirely true. But impossible? Not at all. I doubt Alex tried that hard.
Don't let anybody explore Antarctica.
Will be a fucking international headline in about 5 minutes. Australian Navy ship shoots it.
Facing our way. Bad boys, yield.
Is it?
The turret is turning our way.
The turret's turning at us.
Did you see in the top? Oh, my camera covered it up. Hang on 1 second. Whoop. Over there.
Australian Navy ship shoots it.
Facing our way. Bad boys.
Here it comes. Source unknown. You see that? Source unknown.
The turret's turning at us.
Interesting.
We should hide Adrian in case they think we're trying to kill him.
Going that way.
We're just traversing.
Is there a helicopter coming at us now?
I don't know where.
Just travel, just go.
Just go.
You sent out the chopper.
That's a drone.
Is it? That's unreal.
When people say, why the lie?
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, looking into it here, looks like what actually happened is These guys came into an area where this warship, bear in mind, this is a warship, was conducting some kind of test, like some kind of training operation. That's why they weren't allowed to be there. That's all.
One of the main answers is they're hiding more land.
What if we can truly become free? The whole reason for this is because of more land. Because think about it, if there's more real estate, if there's more resources, natural resources, if there's more food for our starving children, if there's more space, more room for us to get away from the child sex trafficking.
Whoa. Just a quick aside, the world hunger issue has nothing to do with a lack of food. There is more than enough food to feed all of the people in the world. It's distribution of that food that is the issue. Whoa. Child sex trafficking. Okay, let's go there.
If there's more food for our starving children, if there's more space, more room for us to get away from the child sex trafficking, if there's...
He thinks the way to defeat child sex trafficking is for there to be more land for people to flee to. What?
Places where we can go and other civilizations we can be a part of, where they don't charge you for water, they don't charge you for free energy, they don't charge you for property taxes. What if there is more land?
No.
Atlantis, the famous communist utopia. What are they talking about? This is... I have nothing to say to this because this is just fucking wild.
Nobody can go explore Antarctica, period.
But they
so
can.
If humanity found out
period.
There's more land, then the heliocentric theory is gone. They can't start adding more continents on the bottom of a ball. It's just, they wanted its silence right away.
There is evidence out there through old maps, namely the 1,000-year-old Japanese Kabawashi map, which shows continents and lands outwardly of what they call the ice shelf or the ice wall. So,
I need to find a source for that photo immediately because it makes no sense in the world they're talking about. Yeah, it's the Ross Ice Shelf. It's a sheet of ice that's part of Antarctica and is roughly the size of France. Kabawashi. Japanese Kabawashi map. Kabawashi. Kobayashi map? Kapabashi map? I'm looking. Yeah, I can't get a source for this Japanese map. I'm gonna have to... There's going to be a lot of editing decus in this episode because finally they're throwing in some information. You know, the first 13 minutes was just some whining about censorship. Now they're actually getting into something of substance. So editing decus, we'll get back to you on that. I don't fucking know.
So why are they teaching the globe model? Well, you see, the globe is a container, and it's a container of all the known land. The Jesuits and the Freemasons, they needed a new model because they wanted a new world order.
Because right now on a ball or in a snow globe, there's only 7 continents. That's all there is. So everything is it's very limited. We have a limited supply.
Oh my god, I can't. Okay, so Mars, Titan, Europa, Enceladus, Venus. With the right technology, they all have possibilities for habitation. I don't understand how the Earth is a container in the globe model at all compared to the snow globe model that they usually portray. For some reason, this particular group is going for the there's land outside the dome theory, which to my understanding is not the dominant flat earther theory. So that's a little confusing. Anyway, let's continue.
Resources are very scarce because the Earth is a globe, right? It's cut off, everything's cut off. If you open it up and there is more land, then there's plenty of resources. More land means more resources. Well, that's huge if they're...
This is like... Am I at E3? Dude. The new No Man's Sky update looks sick.
They're hiding something like that. There's a scene in The Truman Show where Truman is like, I want to be an explorer when I get older.
I like to be an explorer, like the Great Magellan.
Oh, you're too late. There's really nothing left to explore.
Imagine if there's like all these beautiful places to explore still, and finding out that there's all this land, it just opens up the door for discovery again.
Have you ever heard of the eyewitness testimony?
Is that the new
written in
Minecraft
the books,
biome?
The Iron Republic, the Smoky God, Worlds Beyond the Poles?
Heard of that third one.
In the late 1800s, there was a series of articles written in Florida Magazine about a politician that was tired of what was going on here, got a big ship and a crew, was exploring Antarctica, and he found a passageway through, and he popped out into the ocean, was lost for about a month. Finally, they found land with a city, and they pulled up, and it was a very advanced, quite different civilization, and very friendly, and they stayed there, and he writes about all the experiences he had there. In the late 1800s, they were talking about more land beyond Antarctica.
Remember, the word...
All right, this just got good. This just got good. All right, let's see if I can do some quick context digging here. Iron Republic is what it was called? Yeah, it's a fiction novel. It's a fiction novel first published as a serial. Are you... This is like Scientology all over again. Like, you know, Dianetics was first published in, what was it called? Astounding Science Fiction magazine?
Extraterrestrial means extra land. They're telling you that there's more land in here.
No. Extraterrestrial does not mean extra land. Extra terra would mean extra land? Hang on. They tried to go for word etymology here, and I'm not about that. Hang on. There's the Latin words outside and terrestrial or earthly. So outside Earth is what it actually means. Outside of Earth is extraterrestrial. So no, wrong.
Don't talk about.
There could be more land in some of the oceans where it's just all blue on the map. Nobody knows. You're not cruising around on big ships or flying over it on planes and looking, you know? Nobody's out there charting anything.
Well, except for the people who are. And there's like tons of people who are. There will be people in my comments who have done both of those things. I guarantee it.
Have you heard of such a thing as no-fly zones? For instance, you can't fly in certain areas near the Arctic Circle or the Antarctic Circle. The reasons being is because there are lands there that we're not supposed to know about. They don't want those lands to be discovered.
All these corrupt systems.
Sure. I don't know about the rules surrounding no-fly zones in Antarctica. I wouldn't be surprised if it was at the very least not recommended to fly directly over Antarctica. Because here's the thing. If your plane suddenly has a problem and goes down, the last place you want to go down is the middle of fucking Antarctica. Like, are you kidding me? You're dead. Guaranteed. You're dead. That's my thoughts on it. Maybe some pilots can, in the comments, again, inform us as to the rules regarding no-fly zones and Antarctica.
That are stealing money from us, kidnapping
also, no-fly zones, to my knowledge, don't necessarily mean you can't fly there. They mean you can't fly there without permission. There's certain rules to all of this stuff. I don't know specifically, but if unless I remember correctly, there's like a no-fly zone, nobody can fly there definitely, and there's a no-fly zone, you need permission to fly here.
children. Just doing horrible things. They rely upon the cattle staying on the ranch, the slaves on the plantation. That's why Flat Earth is the...
Be careful. Be very careful.
The most important knowledge we can obtain It's because there is more land.
Don't look at us and say, go prove it. They won't allow us to go prove it. We're not the lazy ones here. We're being restricted from going to prove this to you. So because of that, of course we're going to speculate. It's a red flag. If that's not a red flag to you, I don't know what is. They won't allow us to go. Allow us to go. If we go and there's nothing there, I'll admit I'm wrong. But all signs point to that they're hiding more land.
Well, you are allowed to go, and there are offers. As I said in my last video, but I will correct what I said. Talk to 74 Gear, aka Kelsey, a 747 pilot, who is attempting to organize a trip, if I remember correctly, to over Antarctica in a plane. Obviously, the flat earthers have to pay for their fares, but that's a standard airline fare, you know, a couple, like, you know, $1,000 at most or something. And you can have it proved right there. There's one offer right in front of your face. I will admit that traveling to Antarctica is not easy. That's true. Because it is a wasteland and an environmentally protected area that's important for science. But you can go there. It's just not easy. So once again, Mr. Hibbler, it comes down to you being lazy, because you can do it. It's just hard.
You have to have permission to do everything. You have to have permission to marry the love of your life. You have to have permission to travel down.
No, you don't really. There's ways around. Like, you can just not get married. You don't have to, because marriage itself is a government institution. So yeah, you need government permission to get married. You don't need government permission to be with the love of your life. So what's the issue? I will say, it does remind me of that Doug Stanhope bit where he said something like, who is the asshole who said, you know what, this love thing you and me got, this is great. We need to get the government involved. What a douche.
Down the road, when we have the inalienable right to travel from point A to point B.
You do.
You people think you're free? You're not free. You're free-range chickens. That's what you are. You're free-range chickens held in an area you're not allowed to go past, and if not, you go to jail or you get shot. Stay on the plantation, do what you're supposed to do, pay your taxes, and shut up. Right?
Well, if there is more land...
Well, there's a degree of truth to that, right? There is nowhere, aside from like literally living in the middle of nowhere, where you're actually free, 100% free. And that's, I guess, that's, you know what that is? That's a consequence of the Industrial Revolution right there. No, it started before then. But yeah, that's society. I'm sorry. It kind of sucks. But you can make the most of it if you're smart and game the system. That's what you can do. You can pull a Socrates and game the system.
And I sincerely believe that there is, then that's the perfect reason to lie to everybody. And it's not just about hiding a place for more resources and where else we can go and dig for gas and gold. It's not about that. They're hiding freedom. They know that as soon as we all find out that there's another place to go without dictatorship, that we'd be gone.
There's endless...
That's a very loose definition of dictatorship. Unincorporated land exists. There's unincorporated land in the world that you could go to and just start your own community. People have done it. It's been done a few times, actually. So go do it. That, in the end, it sounds like that's what flat earthers want, is to be on their own little hippie commune. And I say go for it, because, you know, eventually I think I'm probably going to start my own little woodland cult, and we're going to build our own rocket to Mars. It's going to be great. We'll ironically worship Elon Musk.
Amounts of everything, and there's so much more land out there, and there's many places to explore, and they just want to keep us here in the middle of the pond. stuck here thinking that this is all there is.
What happens to the price of gold and all natural resources if there's more land? Gold can't go to $1 an ounce. Gasoline can't go to 20 cents a gallon. We can all have, you know, thousands of acres of land to ourselves. The whole system crumbles. The entire system crumbles. Period.
Maybe.
On the other hand, we have the North, which is also off limits.
I went on my first official trip. I was going with my father and my grandpa Sinclair up to the North Pole. It was a very glamorous destination. I figured I was finally going to be let into the reason for the existence of this high security Arctic base.
My Canadian heart is really struggling right now. Mr. Trudeau, I don't really care what you have to say, but we're gonna get through it.
That was exactly right. We drove slowly through and past the buildings on a special top secret mission. And that's when I understood just how powerful and wonderful my father was.
North Pole is a biggie. It's always been in my mind. I've juggled with the idea, is there hidden land? Could they have possibly hidden a continent in the Arctic Ocean, which is seemingly an ocean? They could hide land there. Many old maps will show you the Hyperborean, 4 continents, and in the center, Axis Mundi. And I think that is what's there. I think there is Mount Meru. And I think that gives off an acoustic device.
There's definitely something special going on up there, and if you just think about that long enough, why do compasses point north? I mean, that's really wild in itself.
Gotta be kidding me. Why do compasses point north? Holy shit. Okay. So here's what's interesting to me. They're completely skipping over, like, there's no Arctic Treaty. There is no North Pole equivalent to all of the weird shit that happens with the South Pole. But they're completely skipping over that. So while they're saying all this, bear in mind you can just rent a boat and go to the North Pole.
What if we all took our compasses out and just followed them until it stops?
I'll give ODD this. He pronounces compass properly.
A compass will always point north.
And then Tanner totally fucked it up.
Of course, the magnetic north. There's some kind of force or some type of energy, frequency, vibration that's pulling that needle to the north.
It's crazy to think that all compasses are pointing north to the North Pole. No compass points south. There is no South Pole. There's no compass that's going to go south. And no, it's come to the north. There's something there. I think we can all agree there's something there. And it's crazy that they cover it up. They've covered it up for so long.
You guys know compasses are man-made, right? Like, this isn't some natural phenomenon occurring, calling people to the north. Mankind said, I need a device that always points in one cardinal direction so that I can orient myself and figure out where I am. That's why compasses exist. It has nothing to do with a call to the north. What are you talking about?
There's ancient civilizations, the Nordics. There's people have talked about, you know, the Rupert Nigra, the
good lord,
the Mount Meru, the giant magnetic mountain at the center.
An entire magnetic mass or a mountain that is strong enough to make everybody's compass point north.
When I was a kid in school, they showed us a National Geographic video of the guys that are getting to the North Pole, and they just basically made it look so horrible and miserable and dark and cold that no kid ever in his life would go, hey, I want to go to the North Pole.
So if you watch any
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Because you should only want people who can endure the kind of conditions you will find at the North Pole to go to the North Pole. It's like if people say they want to climb Everest, the first thing you should show them is the photos and videos of dead bodies left on Everest. There's a ton of dead bodies on Everest that are just there and will stay there because it's not worth the difficulty of going to pick them up, and nobody knows exactly where they are anyway. And it's a great warning for people who want to climb Everest. Like, know that it takes a lot of strength and endurance to do that.
Documentary about the North Pole or anybody venturing to the North Pole, all you're gonna find is some dude mobbing on an ice sheet, and he's got a little device in his hand. He's like, 3, 2, 1, North Pole. And that's not the North Pole, man. That's bullshit.
Why? Because you said so? He's got a little device in his hand. Oh, you mean a compass that he showed there? And the compass turns around because he's at the North Pole, so it doesn't know where to point, proving that he's at the North Pole. That's bullshit, man. ODD's so lazy.
I just don't know what this is.
It's a map. My father showed me a map like this once. Inside the circle
Is this gonna get copyright claimed?
is your world.
Okay, thank you for the Stephen King lore there. Yeah, that's Stephen King's Dark Tower series, and it exists in a universe where there are multiple dimensions outside of ours, and at the center of it all is the Dark Tower. What does that have to do with anything? Stephen King's The Dark Tower is a fiction series.
I think that there's possibly a North Pole part of the electromagnetic torus, which gives off a green light, which you see as the Northern Lights.
The North Pole is the center of the Earth. It is a hyperbola. Because we live in a toroidal field solar system, there must be a plane of inertia intersecting it in the middle, and there must be a hyperbola, hourglass, in the middle. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, it calls this Mount Meru. And why are we not allowed to go anywhere near there? Well, simply because you cannot go there. It is a magnetic toroidal hyperbola. Therefore, there is no way that you can fly anywhere near the North Pole in the center of the Earth.
But what if you reverse the polarity to the toroidal magnetic field spectrum until it polarizes the fusion decoupler? Why isn't that a possibility? Seriously, that was just a whole lot of word salad. Northern Lights, though, so they're kind of backing up this idea that the North is the center of everything by, compasses point you there, they call you there, and the Northern Lights, they call you there. You guys know Southern Lights exist too, right? Like, that's a thing. Aurora Australis, check it out.
Admiral Richard Byrd said he found more land, in the North as well as the South. There's a book called The Smoky God of a father and son that ended up finding more land in a race of giants with technology beyond your wildest imagination. Cartographers have charted
sounds like another fiction novel.
Maps with land in the center, where all compasses point. There's just a lot of evidence pointing to more land. So yeah, 100%.
No, there isn't.
I would put my life on it. There's more land at the North. It's just as heavily guarded as the South.
Can't believe.
Nothing to back that up. No Arctic Treaty, no evidence of any kind. No, it's way easier to go to the North Pole than the South Pole in terms of legality.
Go check the North, and let me go check. I'll take some pictures and videos and come back. You're not even gonna get that close.
Why?
You're gonna be turned around, the same as the South.
By who?
All the way up until the 1600s, they had 4 land masses around the North Pole region. And right after the 1600s is when it slowly started disappearing until finally it was all gone. And you can verify this for yourself if you just go back before the 1600s and look at maps of all sorts. You'll see these land masses on each one, and then sure thing, these land masses just started being deleted from history. So what are they hiding at the North Pole?
CGI fantasy animation from Google. That's funny.
If we sit back and observe all of this evidence, this eyewitness testimony, the verdict would come back guilty. It would come back guilty.
Would it? 28 minutes. I think that's about all I can stomach for now. Yeah, I think I'm done. This is awful. This is way worse than the first one. Although it's getting better. It's getting more interesting and crazy. It gave me a laugh out loud moment at one point, which is something I was not expecting and something I don't think happened when I did the first level. So it's getting better. It's getting funnier. But overall, yeah, this is a terrible, terrible movie. My God. Getting a little culty too, isn't it? Like, is it just me, or does Flat Earth get cultier and cultier over the years? And soon they're gonna go off and start their own little commune, and that's when I'm gonna say, I'm done. I've had enough, because at some point we're gonna hear that something terrible happened. Just like Jonestown. Good night, everybody. If you enjoy this content, consider hitting the subscribe button. If you really enjoy this content, consider donating on Patreon, becoming a member, buying some of my books on Amazon, or buying some of my merch. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you over the curve, Space Cowboys.